Right, we're live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to healthierlife.tv. My name's Paul Bursey, and my co-presenter is...
Your cohort. Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. It's Warren Connolly here. And to those of you folks that catch us in the evening, trust you had a good day.
Absolutely. And let's get straight back into carrying on our conversation from last week. Last week was getting older. Does it have to mean getting less healthy? So this is part 2. Last week, we discussed things like green tea, walking, making the most of your mornings, hydration, dark healthy chocolate, which is one of my favourites, and finding some inner peace. So, any sort of views on last week at all?
Any what?
Views. Any views or?
You're asking me or the viewers?
No, I'm asking you. They can't hear themselves.
Yeah, I bought some dark chocolate this morning, actually.
It depends what percentage.
It was 80% dark chocolate.
Okay, we're getting there.
No, I like it. For me, as I said, I've had the 99% dark chocolate from Peru as well. Yeah,
which is quite bitter.
Very bitter, but yeah.
You get used to it, though.
Of course you do.
Get used to it.
Yeah, your taste buds get familiar with it.
Absolutely. So, obviously, you could talk about this subject forevermore, getting older and getting less healthy. And there's a million things we can pick. So I had the help of reading an article. And the next one on the list is, how about doing a little bit of weight training? Now, you know all about this. So what is it going to do for me? I'm now an old age pensioner. Don't feel like one.
If you think like that, then yeah.
No, I am. But I'm still
the system you are.
Yeah, that's right. Is it chronological age? Anyway, so but I'm still out there doing things. I'm still football refereeing and running about and make myself look a bit of an idiot. But
living an active life.
An active life, yeah. So what would you say to me about picking up some weights?
Be careful.
Oh, that's very kind of you. No, but you're right. You've got to be careful.
Yeah, look, weight training, if you want to talk about exclusively weight training, okay, what I always like to remind us older folk is that our bodies don't specifically require weight training in particular as we get older. And if we are going to use weights when we get older and we start to train, perhaps you haven't trained for 10, 15, 20 years, done some kind of formal physical activity, and you want to go back to the gym, and you might be using machines, weight loaded machines, that kind of stuff. That's cool. That's good. Probably beneficial, more beneficial for you in the short term. The thing is that you got to just be careful and be cautious when using weights. Obviously, as we get older, our bones become less dense, typically. Our muscle reaction time, the connectivity between the brain and the muscles in the body is slower and not as efficient as it could be. So you got to just be careful and allow the body to adapt and to change slowly but surely. But I always profess, for me personally, it's about using primarily body weight training. So you could be using different tools, not exclusively only your body, but body weight training is for me the key when we get older. It's just so much more effective and impactful for us in the long term. And even my younger clients, when I worked with clients that were younger than 40, I used to say to them, unless you can move your body, you're not touching weights.
I wasn't. I was thinking more in terms of anything that you can use for resistance training and things like that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be massive weights or anything. Just something that helps you.
Yeah, even light weights can be are beneficial to you, but you still got to be careful. If we take someone your age, Paul, that hasn't trained or done any physical activity for 20, 30 years,
Hmm.
I wouldn't recommend that they go anywhere near
No,
weights.
absolutely not.
I
No,
wouldn't say go anywhere. Don't go touching weights. Just work with your body first, and move
and
move
go
your
and
body.
go back to walking and things like that. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, I know, I get that, and we're all at different places.
Hmm.
Some are more active than others. Some are inactive. So if you're inactive, as you say, you've got to start at the beginning and just gradually move a little bit forward. If you're already, I mean, I'm used to going down the gym and using the machines,
Hmm.
so it's little bit different for me, although I haven't done it for some time. So
Yeah. It's your body's going to respond differently to it than a youngster. Yeah.
yeah,
Unfortunately, from experience, again, many men in particular in their 50s and 40s, 50s and beyond, they are stubborn and they like to think that they're back in the days of, you know, um, Gold's Gym on the beach, Venice Beach type of thing, and they have the visions of those bodybuilders pushing weights, and this is what they remember from their heydays. And yeah, those days are long gone. You need to give up that ghost and and adapt to what your body needs. Your body has changed. The chemical balances and imbalances, your hormones have changed. The density of your muscles and bones have changed. Your ligament structure has changed. So you want to be able to just move your body first before you start moving other things.
absolutely. And of course, what's the benefits of having an increase in lean muscle mass?
Higher metabolism, stronger immunity. Typically.
That's what I was aiming at. Yeah. So, and also you burn more calories,
Yeah, high
but
metabolism.
don't go berserk.
Yeah, don't go berserk. Because remember, and people wonder about that. They think that, I'm not going to get big and all this kind of stuff. You're not going to get big, unless you're genetically predisposed to packing on muscle just by looking at weights. You're not going to get big. You especially as we get older, because our levels of testosterone has dropped significantly.
Hmm.
But then again, you do get some men and women for that matter, but very few and far between when it comes to ladies. But some men, they have high levels of testosterone throughout their lives. But for the most part, the average general population, the testosterone levels drop significantly as we age from year to year. And so for ladies, the ladies that are watching and listening to this podcast, this conversation, don't worry about packing on muscle. I have a client that's in her 50s now, her late 50s, and she's concerned about, when we do training, about getting strong shoulders and strong legs and that. I'm like, don't worry about that. You're going to get stronger, but you're not going to pack on muscle, because you're not, even if you're pushing weights, you're not going to pack on muscle. The muscles are going to get stronger, which means that they're going to hold your frame a lot better and a lot easier. So your joints, the pressure on your joints becomes less. Your posture changes, and when your posture changes, your energy changes. When your muscles are denser and stronger and harder, your metabolism increases, which means that your body is required to burn more fuel to maintain those muscles, which means your chances of putting on fat is much reduced, a lot less. Okay, so these are all the added on benefits. Plus, your bone density increases as well, because a lot of the nutrients that you're going to be eating and consuming will need to be redirected to the bones as a result of getting the muscles getting harder and stronger and things like this. And that's a natural recourse from training, is that the bones will get denser, especially if your eating is on key as well. That's another key important factor too.
And the other thing was, I found on my research, as I do, an implementation of resistant exercises among 75 to 80-year-olds, so we're talking about very much reduced, significantly reduced participants' risk of having a potentially deadly fall.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's the one of the areas I was going to aim at. Is just to improve some,
Yeah.
improve some rather than going berserk. So
Yeah, sure. Slowly catch that monkey, right?
oh,
It's
absolutely,
yeah,
yeah,
one step at a time. One
yeah.
step at a time.
Okay, so let's move on to the next thing, and that's enjoying some non-dairy calcium.
Non-dairy calcium.
Yeah. So we've all heard that milk makes strong bones, and if you're eager to stay healthy and active as you age, like I am, then maybe non-dairy calcium is the way forward. Where do you know where we would get that from?
Your leafy greens like kale, for example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, fatty fish as well.
Fatty fish.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's if you're having seaweed, like kelp, seaweed, that type of stuff as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. To a lot of people, that would sound horrible, but it's actually not.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's really not. No, and it's again, calcium. Even if it seems like it's a horrible thing for you, it is important for your body and your longevity and your overall health as you get older. So why not just try it out and give it a go and see for yourself?
Yeah.
You've got nothing to lose really, other than maybe a bad taste in your mouth once or twice. But once you try it out, and you could always mix these foods with other foods as well. So you're disguising that flavor, or in some cases the blandness of the flavor. But it's worth going for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, we always talk about variety, and you can mix and match. But yeah, as I say, I just wanted to put that out there because some people just, when they think of calcium, they just think of milk. So
Yeah, but then again, also if you got, for example, cheese. Cheese. The studies around eating cheese is becoming showing more and more that cheese has health benefits related if you're consuming cheese. So you're going to get calcium from there too, right? And so just obviously try to go for the cheese that you like, but preferably not too much processed cheese, like these you get the packs with you got the little like the sleeves of cheese that are individually packed in a pack together.
Oh yeah. It's processed.
Yeah, processed stuff. Don't go for that. Go for the more natural. If the more it smells, the better it is for you.
Stinky cheese.
Yeah. It's full of bacteria. It's lovely. That's what your body needs. Good bacteria.
So, yeah. Second, right, let's move on. Let's had enough of that. No, I say because I want to. We're going to speak about a lot of things, and we're going to do a little bit on each of them.
Paul's got a list.
I've got a list. Yeah. So opt for red fruit. Why would we do that?
Opt for red fruit.
Yeah. Start seeing red, and I don't mean getting angry. Why would we want to eat red fruit?
Perhaps the antioxidant properties in it.
That's the number one thing. And what's the number one thing that is in like red grapes and things like that?
Resveratrol.
Absolutely, which is linked to increased weight loss and reduced belly fat. And that's all you need to know for that one. Yeah. So
unless you want to know more, then come and talk to Paul.
Yeah. I mean, red grapes, cherries, red apples, things like that. So
berries, blueberries as well, blackberries, gooseberries.
And one of the big things about resveratrol is it helps with dementia.
Yes.
Reducing the progression of dementia.
Yes.
Okay, and help keep your body healthy. Belly to brain, as they call it. So, what do you know about the thyroid?
Not a hell of a lot, but I do know that, if your thyroid is underactive, it can be causing a lot of health-related issues. And very often with testing of thyroid, they don't test the full spectrum of thyroid. What's the word? Like your T3, for example. What do they call that? Anyway, but yeah, I don't know a hell of a lot about thyroid.
No, neither do I. But I mean, all I know is that sometimes it can become sluggish and irritable.
Yes.
And you got to work on it. And I think that some of the things that we do will help take care of that.
Oh yeah,
that's all I would say. That's all I would say.
And also for folks that want to know, one of the symptoms of an underactive thyroid is if you notice you carry a lot of weight around your neck area.
Yeah. You can see it on people. So,
Yeah.
and you'll have a hard time losing weight if your thyroid isn't working
Yeah,
properly.
definitely.
So
Yeah,
so that's
it's almost impossible to lose. Not impossible, but it's almost, yeah, it's very difficult.
so. In other words, if you are irritable and sluggish and things like that, and you are struggling to lose weight, then you've got to sort it out pretty quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it can get worse, and you can end up with Hashimoto's and other things.
Sort it out. All right.
Sort it out, yeah. So if you need help on that, talk to us, and we'll work together and learn together as well. So,
Yeah.
how about eating more regularly rather than long periods of time between eating? Now, we talk about starving ourselves. What we call it? Sorry,
Fasting.
fasting. Yeah,
Yeah, fasting, intermittent fasting. Yeah.
and we can do that, and you have to be aware of how that works.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens when we eat more regularly, though? So maybe eat less.
Yeah.
What
You
about a
see,
metabolism? What would happen
yeah,
to that?
but this is, you see, this is again, for me, the way I see this is not typically a person's metabolism, according to what nutritionists may say, and that is that the person's metabolism will remain more consistently baseline in terms of production of your metabolistic or metabolism production will remain more baseline if you eat more frequently through the day. So you're not necessarily going to get a lot of spikes in sugar spikes and blood pressure spikes and these kinds of things. But what do you think of the theory our physical body is a reflection of our psyche? Yeah, Miles, we'll get onto that maybe if we have time afterwards. But thanks for that question. Miles just asked a question. But yeah, if I look at myself personally, and I can only use myself if I've experimented with myself, and then I experiment with my clients as well, the people that I work with. I found that fasting works for me. Okay. But I've also found that grazing is extremely beneficial for me as well. So fasting, if I do intermittent fasting, I don't like it personally because I just feel hungry all the time. But it does definitely work for my body, and my energy levels shoot through the roof. I become very energetic. But if I'm grazing through the day, so what I'm talking about is like I'm not eating necessarily massive meals, but I'm constantly eating throughout the day. Just
Yeah.
I find that for me, that's when I feel at the best. I feel at my best. And so it's why I use that example with me is because it shows that either or works. But it depends on what your goals are, what your body type is, what your age is, and how do you feel when you're using both. If you use grazing through the day, if you're eating consistently through the day, how do you feel when you're doing that? Do you feel sluggish all the time? Do you feel unmotivated all the time? If you do, then you may not want to practice that. But I just think it's a great way just to keep the body going and the fuel. Because I look at your stomach as an engine, like a train engine. That's how I look at the stomach.
Yeah.
The steam train. If you load up that engine in the beginning of the journey, you're going to be sluggish. That train's going to be moving very slowly, and then eventually it'll pick up momentum and it'll get going, and it'll start going fast. But then you constantly got to keep feeding it all the time in any case. So the way I look at it is just slowly stoke it, slowly stoke it, slowly stoke it, slowly stoke it. So it's a consistent rhythm, and this is how I look at the stomach as well, and energy.
Well, by not, but I'd like to say not by design. Sometimes I do fast,
Okay.
and most of the time I stoke all day long. As I say, exactly what you're saying. But I think the key to it is not to have any convenience foods, no processed food.
Yeah, right.
And because you do talking about loading up with salt, sugar, preservatives, and everything else. So it's got to be quality food what you're having, albeit a little bit.
Especially if you are a grazer. If you are a grazer like I am, and how I determine that is because my blood type comes from that part of the world where people were grazers.
Hmm.
I have a B positive blood type, so that's from like the Ural Mountain area, and those people in the day were grazers. They were migratory grazers. They were not agriculturists, but they migrated, and they had herds, and they were feeding consistently all the time, regularly. And for me, I just find that works for my body personally. But don't have processed foods if that's the type of person you are around.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
otherwise you're going to lean towards that.
Okay, just changing up again, how important is it to listen to our body?
Okay. Now this might go back to what Miles's question. So if I can touch on Miles's question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Miles's question was, what do I think of the theory that our physical body is a reflection of our psyche? The day I decided to give up the idea that I am fat, okay, or overweight for that matter, was the day that my body shifted. From that day onwards, my body shifted, and permanently. And like now today, I don't have to eat clean food all the time because I'm not worried about putting on weight anymore, regardless of whether I'm training or not. And it's a clear indication that our mind is so powerful in terms of how our body adapts, and vice versa. If our body is sluggish, if the energy in our body is low, then our mind is going to be impacted by that as well. But it's got to start from here. You've got to make an effort. And as we get older, it's so important that we keep our mind fresh. And if you keep your mind fresh by being mentally stimulated on a regular basis, this is going to give you positive input, and that positive input will keep your thought patterns positive. And if your thought patterns are positive, you're more relaxed, you're more at ease with life, and that is going to have an impact on your body. It's going to have a knock-on effect on the state of your body, the condition of your body.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know if that answered the question or not, but yeah.
Well, I'm sure Miles will let us know. But it's good to see you on there, Miles, by the way. So let's change up a little again. Let's say, what about stopping stress in its tracks? I know we're all individuals. We all live a different lifestyle, and different things affect different people in different ways. So if you could do one thing to stop stress in its tracks, what would it be?
There's a term that look. There's two very, very, very powerful practices which you can do. Okay, three actually, but I'm gonna get to the last one, and that's going to be what I wanted to start off with. But I'm going to finish with that. Obviously, sleeping. Go sleep. Okay, and you forget the stress. All right. So when you wake up, that cork that you've been holding in the water, and your hands be forcing against the cork will be forcing against your hands, causing the stress, that's going to be released. Cork will be bobbing when you wake up, and then it's up to you where you go from there. The other one is meditation, obviously. Okay. Unfortunately, society counts on medication and drugs too much to reduce stress levels. Okay. But these two practices, sleep and meditation, are very powerful, particularly the meditation part. But something that I learned quite recently in terms of a practice of how to go about your day and minimize the effects of stress and the impact of stress in our day-to-day life is a thing called segment intending. Now, segment intending is basically you break down your day from one part to the next, and each time you move into one section of the day, you have an intention as to how you want that part of your day to play out. Okay. So for example, the podcast, before the podcast starts, my intention is to have a great podcast, an insightful podcast, an educational podcast, a interactive podcast, and a podcast that has lots of views, all right, and engagement with our viewers. That's my intention. What happens thereafter, I can't control. But the fact that I have that intention means that no matter what happens thereafter, as long as I follow my intention, I keep true to my intention, my stress levels are not going to rise. Because I'm not in control of what other people do or do not do. Okay, what happens? Maybe technology breaks down. I can't control that. And this, if you live your day like this, if you're a highly stressed person, if you live a stressful life, business, whatever, and if you move from one section of your day with an intention of having that part of your day being as comfortable, free of stress, ease, all of these things, you will notice that things will start to play in accordance with your intention. The more you practice it, life will start to show that to you because you're now looking for that, as opposed to you stub your toe in the morning, you go to work, you sit in traffic for 2 hours, you get to work, you're late, you're stressed, this, you're that, you're this. I'm banging on the table right now, okay, in case you can't hear. And then it ends up being a snowball effect because you have no intention for the day. And if you did have intention in the morning, you stubbed your toe, it's gone. All right. So if you just break it down one segment at a time, segment intention, that helps you just to keep on track and remind you that you are not in control of what happens in everything. You're in control of only what you can do. The rest is up to how you respond to that. So I don't know what you had in mind, Paul. Sorry.
No. That's fine. It is what it is. I mean, meditation has definitely been in there, but I look at it this way. I had the same thing when I was doing lots of hours as a police officer in investigating crimes and things like that. And I worked out that towards the end of the day, I shut off 100%. And I wouldn't engage until I was back at work the next day. I didn't care what it was. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
And it took me quite a bit of time to do it, but you've got to do it because you can't take these problems to bed with you.
Yeah, it's a discipline, right?
Yeah. As long as you can sleep. Some people can't sleep. So number one is you don't skimp on sleep. We're not going to go on the sleep thing here, but I'm just saying that it's very, very important how you prepare for sleep. And if you can go to bed at the same time every night and get up at the same time every morning, it's even better. All right. So that's all I'll say on there. So here's a fun one. Okay. Cocktails or red wine?
Both.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying, but health-wise.
Not together, but both.
No. Health-wise.
Red wine.
Absolutely. We know about the red wine, red grapes. We know that. We've already spoken about that. The reason why cocktails are fantastic, we all have them, okay, but you don't go berserk on them, and it's because of things like sugar content.
Yeah.
You'll be spiking through the roof, I'll tell you.
And that's why you get so drunk on cocktails, besides the fact that it's got that
I don't get drunk on cocktails. I don't get drunk on shots. And I have to tell you straight away, I am quite healthy. I don't go berserk now like I used to. I'm more into trying to have the small glass of red wine every day. But look, people do what they want, but cocktails, sugar, go through the roof. Healthy fats. One thing about using healthy fats in food, let's say.
One thing?
Yeah.
Blood sugar levels.
Okay.
So it helps to keep your blood sugar levels more stable, more consistent.
So again, we're talking about spiking.
Yeah.
Because the whole key is to have a high level that's even throughout the day.
Yeah, baseline, yeah.
Yeah. So
a higher baseline than a lower baseline.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I say this height. That's what I mean. I mean, we've all got ways of explaining it. Some better than others. Probably better listening to you than me. But yeah. So obviously, if you're having your leafy greens, and you're having a nice salad or something, then obviously use some extra virgin olive oil.
Or avocado.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sprinkle some nuts and seeds in there. Crush some some walnuts and some nuts and some seeds. Add that. It's healthy fats for your salad.
Yeah.
Adds a bit of crunch as well.
I do all that. I just don't think of it. I just do it. So I think it's stuck there in the psyche.
And even
So
eggs, and even eggs. Yeah,
nothing wrong with a good quality egg.
yeah, and eggs, but in moderation. So yeah, if you want to go, if you're moving towards a healthier salad-based diet, add 1 or 2 eggs to that as well. You know, the fat in the eggs is a good quality, high quality fat. But it's also very accessible protein for your body. So the protein is a lot more. It's the rate of absorption of the protein of an egg is much higher than in many other foods, protein-based foods. What else? Also, yeah, I don't know what the I don't on the eggs. You know, when you buy eggs, and it has it has the serial code printed on the egg on the shell. So if it's the closer to 1, the more healthier the egg is, if I'm not mistaken, in England, in the UK. Like in Hungary, you know, you can typically get the best you can get in the shops is a 3. All right.
You have to go to the farms for one.
Yeah, you have to go to the farms or the farm stores, you know, markets, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But you want to get closer to that because that means it's a cleaner egg.
Yeah.
Less rubbish in there.
Okay. Right, we've got 5 things left, so we're gonna do
Cool. Let's go through
very little bits. Yeah. So
3, 2, 1, go.
So if you were going to commit to a new exercise plan, whether you're older or younger, let's go for the older first. What would you suggest?
Body weight training. Younger.
Mm-hmm.
Younger.
Yeah.
Sports.
Okay. What about yoga?
Yeah. Yoga is great. I mean, yoga is fantastic, without a doubt. It just depends on the person's characteristic and temperament. Not everybody can handle yoga. Yeah, because So
if you come from a sporty background that you've always done sport, then maybe yoga's a good thing.
Definitely.
But if you've been inactive, let's say, for quite a few years, maybe yoga's not.
Yeah, for yes and no. Yes, because yoga will help to ease you back into moving. Okay. But maybe not because it's so slow typically that most people can't handle the fact that it's so slow. It's like Pilates. Pilates is great for you, but most people, and this is also why many people don't, like, not many people, but some people, when I do my videos, they don't always go towards my videos because I move very slowly in my videos often, you know, or with my workouts with my clients. So my movements are typically quite slow, but it's very beneficial for your body. It's extremely beneficial for your body. So this is one thing. This is the drawbacks. So yeah, potential.
Okay.
But younger folks, I'd say go for sports. Honestly, be social.
Absolutely. Try rugby. That's really social. I started off in England and nearly went to Australia.
Well, you got drilled through the ground, yeah.
Okay, next thing. Skip artificial sweeteners. Give me one reason why we should skip artificial sweeteners.
Chemicals.
That's good enough. That is good enough.
You don't want to know what chemicals are in an artificial sweetener. So we don't want to go down there. Just skip it altogether.
Yeah. I think it sends everything haywire.
It does.
That's okay. We've only got 2 more things now, so sorry.
Wow.
Because one of them we covered, which is don't skimp sleep. So filling up with fiber. Why fiber and not necessary carbohydrates?
Oh, the fiber, because it's good for our digestion. It's good for the bacteria in the gut. Okay, which helps to stave off things like inflammation in the gut, irritable bowel syndrome. So things, also helps regulate our weight as well. Our weight, our metabolism. So a good diet rich in fiber. This is why, for example, drinking orange juice, let's say, as opposed to eating an orange, is less beneficial.
Yeah.
Because with drinking an orange juice, even if you have segments in that orange juice, you're just not having that enough fiber in there to slow down the sugar intake into your system. So you're going to get a sugar spike.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. And the last one is laughing more. So I think that's very, very important, because if you think about the current times we're in, how many miserable faces do you see? Now, I don't know about Hungary. I know nothing about Hungary at all. But I see people, I go walking down the local shops, and most people are walking around really grumpy, and the faces,
That's always been in England. That's always been the case in England.
Yeah, but it seems to have got worse.
Yeah.
Right, and the trouble is, there's nothing worse than me come bouncing along, laughing and smiling. I hate that. It's even worse. So, how would you laugh more? What would you do? What would you do to laugh more?
Make sure I'm laughing more.
Yeah,
Look on the bright side of life.
singing then.
No, just looking on the bright side of life. Looking at this. Laugh at yourself more, I think, as well. Yeah, we need to laugh at ourselves more. Stop worrying about all the other crap that's going on around us, and just pay more attention to ourselves and laugh at ourselves. Not take ourselves so seriously.
Yeah.
Really. If you being happy is important to you, if that is more important to you than everything else going on around you, like the political situation or this situation, that situation, if your happiness is more important, man, watch how your life starts to change. Your life just starts to shift, and there's no turning back after that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's you have your best times when you're laughing and smiling.
Yeah.
So definitely. So I mean, look, I look at it this way. We've got to be looking at some kind of balance in our lives. Now, that's what we do in our business. We help people get a more balanced life. We should be aiming at variety, good quality, whole foods rather than obviously processed foods, and stop putting crap in our bodies. I mean, that's down to the individual. But the three things we want to affect is the main one. Well, one of the main ones is our gut. Because that controls probably 80% of everything. And also it has a big link to the brain.
Of course, yeah.
So that's another good reason. And obviously the main one in the middle as well, the heart.
The heart, yeah.
Yeah. So even if you just aimed on those three things alone, then you would have a much better lifestyle.
Mind, the body, and the soul.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're all linked, as I say.
And they're all there within us.
Everything that we do here at healthylife.tv is in conjunction with the European Food Safety Authority, EFSA, and Informed Sport, which means that we only deal with stuff that athletes can take safely. All right. So, and are you interested in bringing your body back into balance?
Yes.
If you are, then talk to us. Okay. It could be just a bit of advice. So come and talk to us. So with that, we're talking about adding energy and things like that as we go older. There's no reason for getting chronologically older. It has to affect your health. In fact, really and truly, you should be going the other way, being more healthy as you get older. So, because, prior to being 40, everything just shoveled down my neck. Just anything and everything,
Yeah, you never realized what impact was having on your body because your body recovered so much faster. Your body just regenerated so much quicker when prior to your 40s. But these days, many people are noticing in their 30s that their bodies are slowing down already. because of the whole hormonal impact from the foods that we're eating.
Yeah.
And the bodies are slowing down earlier in life. And for the first time in history, our life expectancy has dropped.
Yep. That's right.
Now, how do you equate with that with the
Well,
size
even below the Victorians.
Yeah, the first time in history. I mean, that is like,
Yeah, I know.
if you think about it, the technology we have at our hands, at our fingertips today, and the science that we have at our fingertips, the science that goes into the foods that we're eating today. I'm talking about the clean stuff, the good stuff. You would think that people's lives would be, but unfortunately, most people eat the foods that have got the science that goes into the foods that is not there for the benefit of us. This is the majority of what people are eating. So I want to just wrap up with one thing, Paul. You touched on it as variety. They don't say variety is the spice of life for nothing. And one thing that I've seen as a trait in older folk all my life, remembering that, when I was in my 20s, I was living in an old age home. Okay, I was staying with a family in Chesham in Buckinghamshire, and they owned 2 old age homes, and we used to live in the one. Okay, and that awakened me in the first instance to how, as we get older, not only do our responsibilities diminish, but also the things that people typically do as they get older becomes less and less. So their day-to-day living, the things that they're doing diminishes, and then what happens is there's less and less variety in their lives. And as you reduce the variety and you diminish the variety in your life, your spark for life diminishes. So not only should we be adding variety to the foods that we eat or the things that we're doing, but we should also be adding variety to the things that are of interest to us. Create more variety in your life. Go and look at documentaries and research and historical things, and online or in life, go to read books and things like this, and find stuff that creates more variety in your life for you to be taking on every day. And that's going to help keep you younger as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of us need to do that more than others.
Yeah.
So, all right, great. I think we've done well here. So, any questions, please get in touch with us, and we can answer it. And we look forward to seeing you next week, next Wednesday, 11 a.m. London time. Yeah. So just ask on here. Yeah. Ask on here. So anyway, you fantastic. You have a great week, everyone, and stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll speak next week.
Ciao, everyone.
See you later.
Remainder to your week.
See you later. Bye.